Namaste, everyone, and by everyone, I mean the one person who is watching this live in chat. I'm hoping my co hosts will join me soon. Otherwise, I'm going to cut this live stream short. We usually stream at this time on the Hex Guild channel, but I guess it's not being convenient for everyone. Anyways, I am going to be ranting for at least 10-15 minutes before, if nothing else happens. If you guys can hear me properly, uh, just put uh, some indication in chat. Otherwise, anyway, it feels weird to me. I still don't how people are able to do it. Um, so I hope maybe I should be talking to the future viewers who will be watching this on a record. I hopefully they are will be watching it at 2x speed. Yeah, thanks Hexonair. Good to see you as well. So I hope you guys liked the thumbnail regarding re-education. I had a like prompted for a kid dressed in Finnish soldier uniform, eating crayon, getting scolded by his teacher in view of Finbear who is going retraining. But it kind of I'm not very well like not impressed by the thumbnail, but it came out pretty good. AI generation, at least the fingers are all okay now, so good for that. But here again, I'm going to be a bit diverge. Well, I think the term would be schizoid, like using wordplay on the same, like is one of the signs of schizophrenia as well. But when I talk about re-education, I wanted to like there are two aspects to it. Um, so I would like to say hi to Pearl. Nice to see you. Glad you could join us in chat. Yes, slowly people are joining in. I guess hopefully someone will join on the other side as of the screen as well. So while talking about re-education, I wanted to cover two things, both of which are quite important. First of all, yeah, like what Finbear is going through, retraining or reprogramming or deprogramming, whatever the official term is. But we are going to need a lot of it because let's at least by now you must have taken into grasp that yeah, with the AI cat is out of the bag. That is, we have opened the Pandora's box. There is no putting it back. So yes, AI is going to take away a lot of menial jobs, I'm going. I think most of us will be glad that is being will happen. So, like no, AI will not replace uh, jobs which will require human sympathy and intellect, but menial jobs. I would say it would be akin to like uh, combine harvesters replacing farmer or farm laborers, what has happened in the past. So we are going to have a lot of people who are going to be jobless, plus with those old jobs not existing, we are going to have re-educate not only the unemployed but also the newer generations to uh, have jobs which would be involving AI completely differently. So that is one thing we should be actively uh, thinking about, and I haven't seen anybody really talk about it as much. Uh, I guess there was all like I remember in the 2020 election, the who was the candidate, Andrew Yang. He always talked about how self-driving cars are going to replace truck drivers, and we are good. But his solution to it was like universal basic income. So that is only like a band-aid on a gaping wound. I don't believe that. We are see the thing with the retraining or training the new folk is going to be we are always at this uh, dicon, what would the word be, dichotomy, or fork in the road, or whatever that what was this, yeah, we always have this dilemma that we on in the one hand we need to predict what is going to be useful, um, but in a way that it is going to be needed by everyone. Like random jobs do pop up, but are they really helpful to society as a whole? I like if if you if you've been on the internet, you must have already have seen advertisements for multiple courses teaching you to be a prompt engineer for AI, or the meme term is prompt engineer. But really, see, with and this is happening at a like a exponential scale that you you don't really need to engineer your prompts, because the more data that is available, the more understanding regarding the uh, yeah, wait a minute. Eco builder, why do you have to wait for my permission is here. His I will let him be here. Yeah.
I'll be right back. My bad.
Yeah.
Messed up
So
my. Well,
I will continue
oh, there
my
it is.
monologue for a little while. Uh, so yeah,
Ah.
just a sec. I can't hear you. I hope there is no echo. It really kills the bus. Let me see. Markman 5109 is here. Nice to see you. I,
What's up, Marcus? That's Marcus on
eh,
YouTube.
no. See, there is this kind of an I at least I follow this unwritten rule: never reveal the
Oh,
real name. It,
I have diarrhea out the mouth. So I got the blue one. Don't get the blue one.
what
Blue always lets me down. For some reason, I don't like blues. I don't know about y'all.
what is that? What is that?
Kombucha.
Uh,
I'm not sure where it's made. Beverly Hills,
so
California.
yeah,
My
we
goodness.
were just talking about re-education.
Okay.
I was just going on about how like the education system we need to be adding new courses which will be required for the dystopian AI future that awaits us, and we don't know. We should be planning for those stuff. But the other thing I wanted to talk about regarding education is we need to change how things are being taught as a whole. Now, I have to say a little prayer because I'm going to try doing this on a live stream. But the thing is, are we are taught A B C in the order A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P Q R S T U V W X Y Z. We can easily say Z Y X W V U T S R Q P O N M L J K.
It's
I
not that.
see.
It's
I
not that
see.
easy.
Said it.
It's
I
not
have
that
done this
easy.
multiple times. In it,
Can you?
it does happen on live
Did you
stream,
have to
but I will try
practice?
again.
Did you have to practice?
Once again. Yep, I practiced it a little earlier. Again, Z Y X W V U T S. Sorry, now I have broken. Z Y X W V U T S R R Q P O N. I shit, let it. But I know the other way around as well, like front and back. A Z B Y C X D W E V F U G T H S I R J Q K P L O M N. So my point is was being that we have no rhyme or reason to be taught ABCD in the order that we are being taught in. There's a bit of
Interesting.
conspiracy theory, and I know the Hex Guild kind of likes these things. So if you go into the origin of the letter alpha, it originates from the letter aleph, from some old semantic language, but Semitic language, but it used to represent the head of the ox, and what the head of the ox used to represent. Yeah, if you don't know, it is the it used to represent the head of Baal, if you know who Baal is. So that is why we start the teaching kids with the letter A. That is, you start learning your language by reciting the name of Baal. So this is a mind blowing conspiracy. If you do
Yeah, if
believe
you
it
play
or
with
not, this
numerology and you put one or A is one, then yeah, that's crazy how it completely changes numerology then.
is so so
Wow, what a mind fuck. So, how long did it take you to
yeah.
memorize the
So
switch
but
back and forth
again,
through the alphabet?
like I did this. Actually, I am a bit excited so that I can do it all three ways correctly in real life. The reverse order I also, but yeah, we used to do it for our competitive exam in high school or something. So since then, I've been kind of
Okay.
only grown better at doing it. M- uh,
In college,
I think I
I I had to travel 6.5 hours to my college. And so one time whenever I was driving back, I think it was, I made sure that I memorized it backwards. But I would cut it into segments that kind of rhymed, or like 4 or 3 letters together. So anyway, that's why I was quite impressed, because
Yeah.
I think that it
So
it causes you to tie your brain up a little bit. It makes new connections.
Marcus says the sobriety tests include reciting it
That's
the
bullshit.
alphabet backward.
I'd ask the
Eh,
cop to do it
yeah,
yourself. Okay, now close your eyes and do it. Don't be cheating
you know
off
that
the
there
the
is this.
pad.
Yeah, they just make up tests to get you. It really,
Right.
there is this clip floating around of a female cop asking a drunk guy like to
Yeah.
do some
To do a
dance moves.
dance or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you are a dancer? No, no, it's just while
Nah, I'm
I'm
just
drunk.
drunk.
Ah,
That's great.
yeah, but where was I going? So yeah,
So
so again,
ball and
like
A and
this
one.
is mind blowing. So on the but what is more important, and see our normal education structure, like we, if you do a education course, they teach you certain models like how to design courses, like breaking down something you want to learn into smaller tasks, and linking of increasing difficulty. Like this is what is normally done. But when it comes to writing down the alphabet, do you think A is the, if I was the one who wanted to start teaching, I would teach with the letter L maybe, or maybe C, or maybe uh, small I. These are much simpler than drawing a simple A, right? Like
Well, the
it makes
complex of the
sense
geometry,
to
is that
me.
what you're getting at?
Yeah, yeah, the complex
Hmm.
of, or maybe just, or simplest thing like start with an O.
Yeah.
It is like
Oh, yeah.
getting the, now again if I say that O, like, oh, you are trying to teach people to start with Om. That would be sinful, right? So again, maybe start with I.
Well,
It's a much simpler letter to draw a single line.
I believe
Or maybe
the reason
start with
why
a small letter
Ohm
T.
the reason why Ohm is base is because it's the only thing that humans can do that's unique, like to our vocal cavity, I suppose.
Um, so yeah, it there are a lot, like if you listen to any guru, like they will give a lot of reasons to it, but it it kind of activates your entire vocal system, is basically what it
But
goes to.
whenever you do the
But
at the end, you raise your tongue up to the top of your mouth and you vibrate the area up there.
yeah, so it like utilize your is your entire vocal box, um,
But
and
it
that is, I think,
vibrates your head.
yeah, everything, yeah. So
I want to talk about
what was I
AI like
saying?
you mentioned earlier whenever you're done with this subject.
So, no, I am. I will come back to it, but the point I was going to make, like, yeah, we could design the alphabet to start, at least for writing, with a, maybe if you are believing in the Christ, maybe you could start teaching kids with a small letter T,
Mm-hmm.
which is the makes sense. Like if, like in my native language, like if you go to school or government school or especially a private school, you are taught the Hindi Devanagari script or the Hindi alphabet, which is like ka kha ga ga. But if you, for me, when I was taught as a kid, I was taught with ga ma bhana, which is kind of in the middle of the alphabet, but ga starts with, is the first letter of Ganpati, which is Ganesha, which is the famous elephant god. So these kind of things need to be included. But one of the reasons they do this is to get people to like follow rules without thinking about it.
Mm.
And in general, the whole education system is based on more on rote memory. There is very little problem solving, there is very little creativity, and very little innovation that is taught in general. If you, like, I guarantee you, like if you give 10 high school kids essay or a task to draw a, scenery of a mountain and a river, I would think like 99 out of 100, 99 would come up with a similar design. So this
Right.
kind of thing, they, it is about conforming your mind to certain rules, which we are going to try and we need to try and break. And one of the things I personally starting to believe that AI will actually help us do that. I you know, when I was in, I think it was in sixth or seventh grade, like I remember it, like in school it was one of the kind of, you know, um, when you shine in in class kind of a moment, like all the kids were like, oh, I can't believe he said that out loud, kind of. So we were given a essay, like I think it was in the, I was in sixth grade. I will going to date myself. I was, I think, in the year 1998 or 1999. Yeah. So that kind of explains my age. But at even at that time, there was this debate: should robots be allowed to teach students in school?
Oh, okay.
And I got so my
What
I
did you
was
say
proved
that what did you say that
the
was like
all I
blurting
said,
out
like all
turned
I said
heads?
was, all I said was, yes, we should, because robots don't have teachers' pets or favorite.
Ah,
Robots don't have favoritism,
favoritism. Huh.
and all because my English teacher, like everybody knew there was this girl who was like, you know, goody two shoes kind of teacher's pet. So uh, everybody was laughing there off. But I remember that kind of explicitly. Wait, we have Markaveli joining us. We'll add a.
Dun
I broke
dun
my own rule.
dun dun.
Anyways,
Asperger's.
we had
Dun.
we had a similar discussion in
Yesterday's stream.
yeah, not yesterday, day before,
Hmm.
on the Hexasions channel.
So
That
I
was
had this
also kind of
idea about AI, like some. somebody was talking about Elon Musk, and they were talking about automated things, and you're constantly being taunted by people with YouTube commercials or ads somewhere that are saying if you don't get on AI, you're going to be left behind. And you bring up the bit about AI teaching us, but oh, and then Pearl brings up the idea of different cell phone devices, and Pearl and Marcus are having this conversation in chat about like the technology and not to be traced. I think Moondog chimed in on that as well. And so I'm thinking like we need to have an AI bot that is as close to us as a cell phone in order to help us out, to help us learn, to so that we can um, understand the how to get the output that we want and how to have it utilize us, but not to control us, not to have it to where we have to submit to all these robots that we go up to at the school, the classroom, the commercial space downtown. Um, we got to have it to where like AI helps us out and we still have an existence. And so, like, do you want it to be somebody else's AI that you're interacting with, or would you have it better if it was your AI that you kept close to you and you guarded um, your hard drive, your memory, you get to erase the memory of your own AI. Um, and maybe it can be like, not tracing, but maybe that's like where the power of AI needs to be, is like closest as we can to us. I think I had another little idea in there, but I can't get it.
So let me just say something like quickly. Like the thing is, for the data required for these large language models is not always for a good AI bot, like they won't. It's not possible to do it on your on a personal laptop or a thing. Like you get this large amount of data, which is only possible through data centers. Yes, you can have like some part of it which is specific to you on your local drive, but yeah, so it is possible. Here's the thing, like I want to point out again regarding the education system as well. When it comes to AI, we are all talking about general intelligence or general
That's not
artificial
what I'm.
intelligence.
That's not what I'm talking
Yeah,
about
so
when I hear about AI.
yeah,
I
but
think AIs
when it
are
comes
just
to
demons.
the education system, we all want a specific intelligence, like the doctor doesn't is not able to do the taxes, or that would be the best example I can give, or a, a lawyer will not be able to solve differential equations. So when it comes to humans, we want specificity, but so why not apply that to yeah, AI as well? We can have a specific agents to teach what is. So we can have AI bot which is specifically designed to just teach the ABC, or maybe multiplication, one separate one for addition, these kind of thing.
Wouldn't
And
that just be like a
this,
CPU issue? The whole or having RAM on your computer. The only reason why you would need specifics of the AI is if it need to load a specific data set quicker. So it would just be a speed issue. But
yeah,
if that wasn't an
yeah,
issue with AI,
basically that.
depending on how in depth you take AI and whatever you conceive it to be. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, I don't want to go into the exact specifics of it, but yeah, and
So
again, there is this again. Sorry, let me finish this thought. Again, we were talking about specific bots, and that is where I kind of have this problem with this humanoid robots. Why do we need humanoid robots? We like one robot. We can have separate things for everything, and which we already do. Like most of the car assembly lines, there are robotic arms that do most of the stuff. So
We need
yeah,
humanized robots because people can't relate to humans, and they need to make robots that they can relate to because they've been so cut off from God that they have to recreate something in their image, which is the lesser than image, and then they're reproducing it so they can feel better about themselves, when in reality they're chasing after the wrong thing entirely.
I don't know how human a humanoid is. We could just have it to where like it's a golden retriever and it talks, or it has some sort of output back and forth. But Daraj, like earlier, I was talking about AI like sticking with you and being like on your hip pocket. So like imagine the golden retriever just following you around, and it's kind of like a monkey size or something. It could be a backpack if it wanted to hop on your back, but it helps you learn and it gives you opportunities to choose, or it allows you to ask questions. I think that I have been stunted mentally, and I think that a lot of my peers have been stunted mentally because we didn't know where to expand our knowledge on things that we were interested about. And I think that there's a whole curriculum these days about you learning what you're interested in. It's called like interest driven curriculum or something. You learn as your interest guides you. So not just depending on what the teachers have laid out for you. Instead, it's not based on your age either.
The concept of what is interest, where does interest, or I mean, that would be the same concept of motivation. Interest is probably a lower level grade of motivation, but where do these things proliferate from? Where does this stuff even come from? Like, why would you have an interest in anything? And how? I don't know. I've got a whole lot of pushback on the topic, so I'm not going to take over any conversation necessarily, but I think there's a very different way to look at these things than, oh, AI is here to help us. Like, you've watched Terminator, I mean, Skynet, these things are, it doesn't work out in the end in most in most platforms that you want to think about it. I mean, I understand the idea of wanting it to do something for you, but ultimately it's taking from other people and to create anything on its own. So it is just a plagiarization of what's already existing. So ultimately, I would assume it to be a parasite because it's not producing anything of its own. It's just taking and regurgitating it, which is not, I don't see that being helpful necessarily.
see, first of all, like I kind of agree on that point. Yeah, at least right now, even with the generative AI, it's not really generative. It doesn't all of its creations are still limited by its data set. And humans have this unique ability to go beyond what is possible. I I know, like they talk about uh, what is called what are called AI hallucinations. But actually, again, that is a kind of a double speak term for uh, uh, the actual term should be AI confabulations, where it doesn't have any data, it makes up data based on what is it, but it's
which it
completely
can't do.
different. Yeah.
It can't create its
Uh,
own data. You have
yeah.
to input the data for it to work, supposedly. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely a debate as to what AI is.
Yeah.
I think you guys are taking a few
Well, we can.
assumptions as to what you are pontificating what it is. I think there's a broader range of what AI is and what it's being used for.
So, so before I like uh, Davin is doing some ASMR with coffee.
What kind of pot is that? Is that one of the?
So I don't recommend this plastic pour over capsule thingy majigger, but I do recommend the Yeti cooler thingamajigger. Keep your coffee hot for a while.
Yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. Before I go, like what
Say it.
uh, no, I just wanted to point out Finber is got audio sensory response to the sound. Uh, like there is too much dystopia being put out regarding AI. Like, oh, it's going to uh, turn everybody into needles for extract iron from the hemoglobin of everybody's blood and use it for making needles because it was given a task to optimize needle production. This is kind of like a slippery slope policy,
Yeah,
but
AI is so smart.
and
How
it's
long
kind of a
before it thinks
tactic
it's
to get.
smarter than us, and then starts making decisions that are better than the decisions we're capable of? I mean, if it's so smart, it's able to do so much. At what point is it going to be like, oh wow, these idiots that created me are trying to tell me to do stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, why would I do that when I have all of their information that I can use
So
against their stupid questions and answers? And like
Well,
it's
don't give it the capability
see,
of creating an action, right? Just allow it to think, but don't allow it to act, right?
how do you limit data?
I don't know.
Like
I'm not a
how it's like the internet. It's like you put a picture out on the internet. How are you going to delete that picture? Or how, like once the wall is broken, which it's already broken, but I mean now that it is, I think it would be intelligent to understand what we've created and what it's actually doing.
So I take it you're not gonna check out Grek then, huh? The Twitter AI.
I think they've had this stuff for so long and people just didn't know that it existed. And I
Probably
don't.
the real value of Twitter right now.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. I just I retweeted, a guy wrote a book on Elon that the reason why he bought Twitter was to get that data point, and he's also using all the data points out of the Tesla vehicles, and it's all this, like the biggest data point collection service is Twitter. It's got the most human activity going on, and he's using that to feed his AI, which is everything. Having the smartest AI is World War III right now.
Mm.
So he's
yeah,
in control of that, and he's feeding it, and he's producing.
Ooh.
He's creating something awful, like, and we're all participating in it. and thinking it's a good thing.
So
The
I'm
just I wanted to point out that the Grok AI by Twitter is just another skinned version, like a shiny version of OpenAI's ChatGPT. They it uses the same data points. It's just it has Twitter access to Twitter data, but
Yeah,
basically
that's
it's the same. And
that's what's open to the public right now, though. That's just what they're
yeah,
letting us use. They've had this
yeah,
information and ability for a long time, and it's not what we think it is. I mean, personally, I mean, you have whatever opinion you want, but I mean, it like I don't know if you follow like Tyler Durden, maybe on Twitter or whatever, but that thing or guy or bot or whatever you want to call it existed before we were talking about AI. This was like 2020, 2019 or whatever. And I don't know how long that thing's been out there, but like they've had this supposed technology, which I don't even think it's technology. I think it's like everything else. It's black magic, occult nonsense that is just channeling things and entities from the non-physical realm, and this is just another tool for them to be able to manipulate our physical existence more.
right.
So I do see it as things in the less physical are able to come out and interact with us more through the technologies. Um, I want to ask: have you seen that new Obama movie the Obama family put out, where
Yeah,
it's on?
I refuse to watch it because that's predictive programming, which is putting a seed into your brain and making the whole masses of everyone's nodes that create reality think the same things, so that when it starts being implemented, the things that they are producing in that movie, it's going to be more readily acceptable because you've already created those passageways in your brain that create reality. So you've already thought the thought, and now when they start putting it in, it's using everyone's beliefs against them to create this thing that they already put on a movie screen that you already know it could exist. So when they start implementing it, it's easier for them to put it into reality. I think it's being used against us.
So
But yeah,
I think that I'm stronger than uh, having that, but I definitely put a lot of thought into the movie. The next morning, whenever I woke up, I started thinking about it and stuff, and um, yeah, I just hate it how it's like civil war. But what something that occurred to me that was pretty interesting, in my opinion, was the young girl who I think always wore white, was possibly the only virgin there, or at least innocent, right? She was constantly wanting her materialism. She was constantly seeking that out in whichever ways that she knew how, always pestering her mother, or her father, like, or her brother. How's the internet connection? Or I just want to watch my show. And then, like, she kept herself aware, right? She noticed the deer and stuff like that. So she went, rode her bike next door. She had just this hunch, right? She's connected. It's the shining shit. Like, she was able to stay pure, however, she was still captivated. She found what she wanted. She went to the neighbor's place. They show you at the very spoiler alert, cover your ears, earmuffs. Um, she goes over to the at the very end of the movie, she's over at the neighbor's house. She finds their bunker there because they didn't make it back while chaos was happening. So their house was free and available, their backup power, all of their storage supplies. She makes it into the living room of the bunker, and she sees all of their DVDs, or yeah, DVDs on the wall. And she seeks out friends. She finds friends, pops it in. The That's all she wanted, was that one fucking show.
oh, how
So
interesting is that? And this movie was made before Matthew Perry supposedly eliminated himself. I wonder how they were able to know that that might be part of the human consciousness at the time. It's like,
Oh yeah.
very interesting. So these same people that created the movie may have maybe made that happen so that,
All the heart attacks are high plausibility.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard plenty of it, but I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. Rather, I haven't hadn't heard about it before Davin talked about it. Anyways, I c- like I mute a lot of stuff on Twitter, so it helps. That helps a lot. Marcus was saying AI reminds me of automation giving computer set points and it will be able to adjust value to the main function. Yeah, basically AI is that uh, uh, just just there are multiple set points and multiple functions to be optimized at the same time, which makes it complex. There was a high level AI in 2017 out there online. It was making posting art and making its own social media accounts. Nothing like ChatGPT, way more advanced. Yeah, the thing is, I don't know. This was in the news. I remember in the 27 in around 2017 when Facebook was doing AI research. I there and they had started a couple of were what you call agents or bots, and they started communicating with each other, and they developed their own language to communicate with each other, and that's when Facebook decided to uh, turn them uh, off, kind of thing. But like machine learning and AI research has been going on since like the 50s or 60s, maybe, I think. It's the thing is
Or
it
way
is
before
now.
then, because our timeline has been completely manipulated and our history is a lie. So they've had this technology since forever in the beginning of our make believe
Yeah, that's the
culture.
best. That's the best mind fuck right there. Ooh,
uh,
we're living a
but
fake timeline. We've done it all before. Ah!
Yeah. And then you
Where are you? What the fuck does it
not spinning on a globe, I tell you that.
matter? Hey, my dad wants to know what's happening with quantum computing. Will that affect Bitcoin mining?
uh,
Because I
like
really don't know anything about
I
it.
haven't seen the latest one, but like what's going on in the latest thing, like
They have
but
commercials.
yeah, they like even with quantum computing, I don't think it will be easy to crack that SHA 256. So Bitcoin is going to be safe for at least a couple of years now. And they are developing like quantum resistant algorithms on the side. So it's again an arms race for. But the thing is, like, I don't get it. If a quantum computer gives you an answer, how do you verify that the answer is correct?
You trust the science.
Because this quantum computing, the thing regarding qubit, it is assuming some probabilistic value to each bit. So there is this probability involved. So how do you know the answer? So the answer you will get through quantum computers is going to be kind of probabilistic. So how do you know it is correct? So just
I think it has to do with your heart chakra.
Maybe, maybe.
That's how you know if an answer
Feel
is
it
correct or
right
not.
there.
It's not from
Yeah,
a
like,
computer telling you what the data sets pinpoint to.
That
say,
has
there,
simulation written all over it.
uh, it is more like an analog system. It gives one answer at a time, then it resets. Maybe, yeah. So, but yeah, it has very limited computing like
Yeah, I
power
think they
there.
already have it. I mean, it's the idea of something being in two places at one time, and
Yeah,
I think the
He runs
spirit
a
realm works that way already. And like, I mean, when you're doing certain stuff online, like I've done like music with someone online that's in the UK or China, and it's like instantaneous. Like how you can't harmonize with someone that far away, like with any lag. Like it's just crazy. I think they already have that.
so uh, Paul was talking about Bitcoin. She runs miners. I think everybody uses some kind of pool, and she's saying like the mining pool can always fork the Bitcoin. You see, we have been there, done that like multiple times. Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin this, falana link. Oh, but so the, every like the miners know how it is going to end. So I don't like, if there is a threat, yes, they can have a, I keep forgetting, soft fork. Yes, a soft fork where they change the algorithm completely, which so that can be done. But otherwise, hard fork is not like splitting Bitcoin into again Bitcoin Classic and Bitcoin Quantum. That thing is not going to happen. I think, like at least uh, that's my expectations. Mm,
Cool.
again, what? Yeah, I love these kind of thoughts. Like I think again I'm going to like reiterate, like I had shared this app called Biorhythms, and I trace myself, and sometimes that intellectual, right now my intellectual level is kind of high, so I get these weird thoughts, and I would want to thank Marcavelli. He's like a catalyst. Like we go on to random topics. Like the past two live streams have been amazing. At least I feel that way.
It's
Paul
all
is saying they already discussing it because of ordinals. Yeah, that is a completely different issue. Like, but again, I they I don't. There isn't the financial incentive right now. Ordinals, even though yes, they are clogging up the network in sense, making it uh, expensive to transact, but it's generating fees for the miners. So there is no incentive for them to fork out Bitcoin because of the ordinalization. Like NFTs in like personally, NFTs in general are kind of trash, or cancer to the its ecosystem. But yeah, Tintop is saying, Is there AI is here to help you? Elon Musk is your savior. All hail the robot overlords." Uh,
the lizard overlords.
the lizard,
They
or,
want you. They
or
want you to
maybe.
think it's a robot AI nonsense.
For now, we can use Twitter.
Yeah,
But what
until
if
they
it is
perfect
true?
AI or something. That's the only reason why they would turn it off. Is it was like, oh, we don't need to know everything that everyone's thinking, and We don't need to, like, no, they wouldn't. They're using it against us to plot out the future against us. Like, so they would, why would
But
they want to
what
turn that
if
off? It's like playing poker and then having your cards facing the other. Think about,
That's a
here's my
pretty good
card, look at this.
analogy.
Yeah, but what if it is true? AI is being summoned to help us fight against the
I don't need
lizard
any help.
overlord.
I don't need any help from AI or Elon Musk or technology in
You know,
general.
uh, if
I don't
you
think this
like,
stuff is going to save us. We might be able to use it. I don't know if it. I mean, how helpful is it? What's the plan? What is it helping us do? Go to Mars on a fake rocket ship that's CGI? Like, what's exactly is AI helping us with? Like, I don't get it. So we can compute faster. How much faster do we need to compute things? You're already talking to people. Like, I'm talking to you, and I power. We're live speaking technology instantaneously, thousands and thousands of miles. I don't like
uh,
what do we need from this? What would actually benefit humankind?
Yeah,
Because
I bet our current structures are manipulated in our communication, our travel, making it to where it's the vicinity between each other, whether we're doing business or family.
but at the same time,
Um,
space
but
doesn't even exist. Like, the idea that we're separate in any sense is like a proven fallacy. So being more
so
connected is just like a concept in your mind that's tricking you to believe that we're not together.
I bet the manipulation that's happening where it's not where we have to deal with uh, not getting what we want, but um, yeah, I'll come back to it.
the
Like,
thing is,
it's the concept of lack. Any idea of like within the concept of lack is, oh, you need something. Like, I refute needing anything. I refute the perspective of lack. Like, we have everything we need currently. What more could we possibly need if we already have it in this present moment? Like, what is the
see,
actual goal?
see, one thing that comes from like the top of my mind is longevity. And one thing is for sure, even though like if you saw the Google ad for their AI, like even though that one was fake, but it is helping with going through tons of data regarding medical research. They are using it for like simulating protein folding, etc.
Yeah, they
Something
are, they
uh,
are. Who
they,
is they?
they
Why are they
they
doing
they,
that?
they are in the sense most of the scientists and a lot of this thing, but whatever they may be doing, they in the sense the researchers who are working in in medical research may be doing, these tools are being made available to everyone.
For
So
what
at least
reason?
at
What,
least we can go and look at the data and generate
I
our
can't look at
own
any of that
information.
data. What are they actually trying to do?
So
They're doing tests and creating things in labs, and they're trying to figure out what is their goal. What are they trying to do?
like have you listened to Aubrey D. Gray? I think
Yes, I've heard
yes,
plenty from him.
yeah. Yeah, basically they are finding ways to. Uh, I think what was the term? I see again. I get this thought block. So wait a minute. But Yeah, the telomere shortening, they are trying to find a way to stop that, and which can influence our longevity by simulating the interactions of those genes in
Yeah, wasn't he doing that?
in silico.
He was doing that. He was having some success, and then they fired him. I thought
That's a
Richard
different.
gave him $27 million, and then they fired him. I don't know how much of that has been
Um,
resolved exactly. Isn't that exactly what happened? It's like 27.
I,
That's what he brags about, isn't it? 27
yeah,
million dollars for charity to this company that Aubrey Gray was a part of, and then they fired him immediately afterwards. That's
uh,
pretty cool.
there are like multiple red flags there. I was just giving you an example because that's what I it, like came from my mind because of
So AI is going to help us live longer. Is this the
maybe
concept that we're
may,
speaking about?
maybe
Somehow Aubrey Gray, the one person that had the inspiration, the thought that no one's ever had before, and knows how to actually do this for himself and make himself live longer, and had all the capabilities. Richard sent him a bunch of money to do it. He had all this going on for him, and then he needs AI. He was already doing it. He
it,
doesn't
it,
need AI. He needs the people to give him his money back so he can actually create that. But now it's like we got to raise a whole nother $27 million to give him the suitable
so
ability to do what he was already
uh,
fucking doing that didn't need AI in the beginning at all. He was the one channeling it. He didn't need a black screen in his hand to tell him what God was already telling him.
uh, so I used Aubrey de Grey as a example, but th- that is not the only research that is going on. I am like there are
That's the only
other
research going on that matters. Everything else can be
yeah, but
resolved later
if
after
you
you defeat time and
uh,
death.
now uh, shit man, I forgot the name of the guy, the other guy, but they were also planning to have uh, new genetic code kind of you know our genes are made of four nucleic acids, ATGC. They had a they were planning to create, or rather have had already created two new ones, X and Y, I think, or H and something. But they are so they are trying. They may have uh, what do you call, six nucleotide based life, which will be completely different. So these are the kind of things that are going to be seen in the near future, or maybe
There's nothing new under the sun. We will
or
not see anything new in the future.
or maybe yes, we are just in a simulation. We may there may be just a reboot after a little while, but anyways, yes.
Eat meat to reboot.
Uh,
So Finbear's been in the chat. He said, "Send your questions for Bart K. He's in contact with this
yeah,
guy,
yeah,
and he might come on talking about diet, which it would be
yeah,
along the lines of what Finbear's been telling us."
yeah. The
What
I
I
am
mean,
going to
isn't
start calling it.
that's the same concept as like reactivating your junk DNA, which these people told us was junk DNA. And now you're talking, I mean, you're talking about the formulation of our DNA and how that they're going to rediscover different nodes that make up your DNA, as fucking if these people could.
I'm done with discoveries. Get your
Or at
discoveries
least
away from me. Oh yeah, you found that? Great.
Or at least the least they can do is
What'd you name it?
design better viruses. uh, that is the least minimum they can
Yeah, they
that
can't
is
even do that. They tried to fucking do that and it didn't work because there's like a law of the more viral, like the more dense or more easy something that you can get, like the deadlier it is, the less it can spread outside of the body. That's why they had to give you the death jab. That's why they had to do it. They had to instill a first they had to put the idea in your mind that you could possibly die fucking die from. They had to put
yeah
that seed of fear in your brain to the point where you had to make the choice to actually go get it injected because we're so fucking dumb. We didn't know what science was. We didn't know that, oh, if it was that viral, it wouldn't spread as much because that's how viruses work. The more deadly it is, the less easy it is for it to spread. But we're all fucking idiots and don't know that. So people go and get things put in them that kill them, like genocide is happening. Hooray.
yeah and so now you are by the way, like this now this is my conspiracy theory. I have to take full credit for it. The vaccine itself is not like the end game. The vaccine, to be specific, the mRNA vaccine is generating proteins which are being shed into the water supply, and they will take years to take full effect. We already know of what are known as prion diseases, which are basically proteins and which take, so they are it will take around a couple of years. I think on an average it should take around 7 years. We are at the halfway mark, so we will see in a couple of years.
But even
I
before
think
any of that,
we have we
before they actually
I
get it inside your atmosphere of skin and epidermis, before it actually reaches inside of you, they have to put it into your mind. They have to seed the idea that you need them for some reason.
yeah, and it makes sense because the amount of protein that is going to be needed to be infected, it was not possible to be generated in the lab. So you all have been converted into protein generating machines. Anyways, my conspiracy theory, I should maybe put a TikToker regarding it. I think it will take like, with the proper sound effects and text and
Yeah.
etc. I can
Yeah, I've been doing
probably
those
do that.
lately. Do it.
Uh,
It's a
uh,
great release and it's a great documentation. At least it's out there. You can point to it
yeah.
later.
We had
You
everything we needed.
can be your own chat GBT and put it out there for the world to digest. And then that'll affect them
You
or
can
infect them.
uh what I was more speaking to is getting something posted so that whenever you get into a conversation about somebody, just be like, or about the thing, and just point them to it. Like, you know what? I did a video about that.
Mm, yeah, but
So, you read what Marcus had put there?
so sorry. I will read it out aloud again. We had everything we needed when we had the telegraph lines, and then we realized we could advance technology, and now I can video chat with someone on the other side of the planet.
But I
Yeah,
So
think what
well,
I
what
think
Asperger's here was saying was he was in our conversation, he was going all the way back to us being telepathic, right? To where we're one thought, we're all connected.
well,
Um,
yeah, that's like the electron theory as well. It's perspective. It's the idea of creation. If things come into a physical realm, then they come into it from an unphysical realm. So outside of creation, outside of the physical realm, it's everywhere. So that's just a concept perspective. I mean, it's my reality. It's other people's. I don't know what the fuck.
And the thing is, yeah,
Wear rubber
today's
shoes.
today's fiction becomes tomorrow's reality, and to, tomorrow's reality will inspire day after
The guy that
tomorrow's
just
fiction,
the last
kind of
thing on
thing.
there.
So like before, like I like even in I think most Indian chat people always like to point it out that like the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, which are the two ancient kind of uh, epics, to be use the
Yeah,
exact term. So
they're they're
they had these
describing.
concepts of vimanas or flying aircrafts way before everything was like the airplane was invented, or there is this concept of like a guy who like the Mahabharata, the battle is going on somewhere else, and the king, he has a kind of an oracle, I would say, he is able to see the whole battle, and he describes it to the king.
Yeah, where do you see that
So
from?
that kind of fiction gives inspiration for what is now we call live streaming, which we do every Wednesday or mid afternoon Austin time. So please like and subscribe. Guys, do you know so if you haven't already subscribed, the logo of subscribe kind of changes color when you say the word subscribe in chat.
I
You
think
have
uh,
to
I think having a premonition of a future war is a little cooler than live streaming, but
and, like no, it's not premonition, like
what you
they
were
are
describing, what you were describing was a story of premonition.
no
He saw the battle
not
before it
not
happened.
no no, like it's not premonition. He is able to see what is going on the battlefield sitting somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
it's
Everyone can do that.
yeah. So mm,
People can have an agregore sit and mow their lawn, and then they can escape their body and go and remote view anything they want.
like have you ever tried that astral projection? I swore never to again.
Really?
It feels crazy.
How about you,
Like
Asperger's? You
because
done any remote viewing?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I feel left out here.
Well, I mean, it's a sensation of like, have you ever meditated and felt your aura go outside of your body? That's remote viewing. Have your eyes closed and sense something further away, or like I have headphones with a microphone. With this headphones and microphone, I can, if I really listen, I can hear something that I would otherwise not be aware of. So it's just expounding your awareness. And if you are able to sense other things in a way, you can sense them from further away by being able to pick up on those frequencies from where you're at.
I can
yes,
imagine over there on the battlefields, there would be a lot of signaling coming
Yeah,
off of
right.
those people.
That would
Be
probably
a
be
very noisy area.
easier to pick up on. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why they do ritualistic magic, so they can put a frequency in a specific area. But
Yeah,
yeah,
but that's to encourage that sort of thing, right?
yeah, but why is that war happening to begin with?
Bankers.
Anchors, yeah.
I know that answer.
Time anchors.
Why the chicken crossed the road? Finance.
Finance. Well, anchors is a good answer, though.
Money.
money.
Probably because the BLM
Any
protesters are on the side he was walking.
Yes, protesters. I want to see protesters. So I did some short videos lately I'm pretty proud of. Some for the puzzle, which is defipuzzle.xyz. Another one is showing off the mailhex.xyz. That's where you can go to either download some stuff or be directed to my socials to request some stuff. And then I did another one about an idea that I had where, our current financial system could have been a bit different had some people lived through the Titanic situation, or what's called the Titanic. So I kind of like dream about getting my sister's attention through intertwining some characters in with the existing characters in her head from the Titanic. I thought that'd be cool if like Jack was a part of an assassination team, and so he had like a whole another bit of life that he was doing while he was there on the ship, along with a mixture of other military men who were on the same mission, different briefings or something. I don't know. Get on the ship in the UK, and then head here to the United States.
Oh, that was that Titanic thing you posted?
Yeah, I posted a short video that I made.
Jack. They used Jack in the Titanic movie to make it a good character to completely mindfuck who the real Jack and what his purpose was. How crazy is that? Fucking asshole.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That's what they always do. They always
have it
do
so where
shit.
they intertwine so that I'll have, I don't know. AI can make up anything, but it would suck to get sued by
James
DiCaprio.
And DiCaprio. Oh man.
Yeah, but you don't have to use DiCaprio. You can use complete. AI will come up with a new face and a new name, and everybody will know who the character is. But
Right. Just
Is
have it
this
where he's just a little bit off, like his hair is auburn
real or is this
instead
just
of
a story?
blonde. Oh, this is a story that's like being built in my head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just had to like package it and put it out there.
yeah, maybe.
But
Anyways,
I mean, it sank. What's the point of having an assassin on a boat that's going to kill people anyway?
Well, what if there's
like maybe
what
his mission is to sink the boat.
Oh, that too.
maybe they have the whole jump into the lifeboats scenario, and those guys don't come out of their cabin because they're killed and everybody else is fleeing the ship.
Yeah, it's like when on 9/11 they had like a bunch of different people that didn't know what exactly they were doing, but they're all there for the same reason, but they didn't know the other people were a part of it as well. It'd be something like that. It's like or with JFK, how they had like multiple gunmen rather than just one.
Have you seen the Peaky Blinders? Where
yeah,
I think it's at the end of season 1 where they take him all the way out to this field, tell him to get on his knees out in the middle of a field that's already been plowed, and he thinks that he's gonna die right there, and he starts saying his prayers or something, and maybe like the first season ends right there, and then the second season starts up, and each one of these agents that were behind him each had the gun to the head of the agent in front of them. So the guy who, yeah, it just kept on going down the line. And those sorts of dramas, action movies, whatever, those really like tug at me, because I think like, what's the honorable thing to do? Like, that's a whole life, you know. I would hate to be that agent, that position.
That's like the
That's the
rituals
reason
of.
why I didn't join the military.
There you go.
You don't factor my life the way that I factor my life.
But that's a specific, like with Freemasonry, they have that when like rituals of death. You're supposed to, and that's Christianity is as well. You're supposed to die and be born again. Like
I feel like a lot of those guys, they don't take it seriously, you know. So it's just like they live just with this outer shell or whatever. Just go through the motions. Oh, it was this stupid thing. Like they blindfolded me and I hopped on one leg and asked each of the directions. Blah blah blah. It was just so stupid. Every meeting we ask, you know, from this direction, from that direction, what's the news? So I kind of feel like they don't take it fucking serious. And
yeah,
this experience, like we gotta take it serious. We gotta go where we're led.
yeah. Well, maybe those curses would be less powerful if they're not emotionally charged with the person actually believing them, but they're still curses and they're still going to affect them.
That's
and
what
possibly their family members, which sucks.
That's what I did not say. Okay, yeah, okay. So I'd like to speak on that. So in meditation, supposedly if you rise up, then your amount of strength or whatever, your ripple in the vortex or whatever, the matrix, it affects the other lines to come and that have already been with your lineage. And so I wonder, are a lot of these people who are doing these Masonic temple rituals, are they creating a
Parasiting off
ripple
of their family? Yeah.
for their family members in the line past and the line future?
Yeah, it's an absolute dick move for people to do any of that shit. It's like there's like a YouTuber that he's outside of like Scientology buildings. I mean, it's not the exact same thing as Freemasonry, but basically it's the same concept. Going somewhere to get attachment, evil entity attachments, or being mind controlled by a superior like demon of sorts. But yeah, don't do it. Like Scientology shit, Freemasonry shit, you're going to have negative entities attached to you and your family for all time until you learn how to break curses, which most people don't even believe exist, even though they affect everybody and rot their brains in the fucking walnuts till they're on antidepressants and then they can't fucking think at all. And then they go to fucking Walgreens, get the flu shot, another shot.
Go to Walgreens.
Then they just end up dead, as predicted by these fucking assholes that put in this system to begin with, and no one's even aware of it. Like how long until people become aware of these things? Most people are not aware of it. They just, oh yeah, I'm gonna go sign up for these guys. These guys are cool. George Washington was one. I mean, George Washington was cool, wasn't he? Even though he might have been black, and people don't like whatever. Our history is something interesting, but he was a Mason. Or like Amazon, you turn it upside down, it's like a Mason with the G and all that stuff. Like all of this shit is like controlled by these freaks, which are controlled by deeper entity creeps that ultimately just rest dead. Yeah, it's a trap.
It's a trap, and our cage is not a rigid cage. It has entanglements if you get close to it. Stay away from the cage.
Yeah.
Hey, Diraj, you won your school's spelling bee.
Yeah.
And your prize is to go to Walgreens.
We don't have Walgreens here. But yeah, the thing is,
what's the pharmacy on every street around there?
Here in the Philippines, it's Mercury. um,
That's interesting.
Mercury drugstore, and it has a bull as a mascot. So
Hmm.
you can accept.
Hmm.
Going back to what we were discussing much earlier. Hey,
The ox.
yeah. So, and
A.
the thing is, because the Wild SJ is here, like, it reminded me to just give a shout out to the Discourse Syndicate. They are going to be streaming in a few hours, I guess. A presidential candidate, doctor. I don't know,
Shiva.
V.A. Shiva. Uh, Adurai Shiva. He's a good guy, I think. At least, no
I think that's
chance in
stellar.
winning, but he is definitely a well spoken and knowledgeable guy. He's,
SJ, you want to come on?
I
And
don't
if so, please bring the stickers. I'd like to see them.
I've heard good and bad about Shiva. I don't know if I trust him fully, but who knows?
like, yeah. I, uh, at least amongst the candidates, especially if you're uh, again Indian conspiracy, Indian supremacy. Like you have two options: the Vivek the Snake, or you have V.A. Shiva. Either way, there will be a Indian in the White House.
I like Vivek cursing in public on stage.
Uh,
Ah, it's quite refreshing. And he takes angles that I wouldn't, expect him to take.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to call out the bullshit these days.
Yeah, right.
You got
Dun.
quite a, what's the,
Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye.
yeah, it's like, oh, you politicians suck, and then I'm a politician, but I'm a good politician.
yeah. My
God, our
favorite
gray
part
flag.
was my favorite thing regarding him was when he told Chris Christie, like, "Hey, just get go home, have a good meal, and go to sleep."
Get
Fat
off
shaming
the
is not good.
stage.
Yeah,
That was
fat
good.
shaming is not
It
advisable.
works. It's actually very helpful. Could save a life. Probably could.
Uh,
Probably definitely would.
Probably,
Actually,
if it gets through, kind of most, like,
if it's a real good burn, it's worth it.
yeah.
That'll actually get through the thick fat skull.
Yeah, I like the way.
Jiraj, I think you had something that you wanted to share with me last week
So,
whenever I was absent.
oh, see, the thing is, yeah, I think we had already discussed it. Uh, I wanted to send out some things to the Parmis, like, maybe hang on in the chat. I will text you later. The thing is,
So that's a no.
so
No.
no,
Okay.
yeah, because basically, I don't want to, like, say things and not do things, like, kind of. So
I think
don't say.
I missed the was it the A is a representation of ball as well.
Yeah.
That's the
So,
horns,
and we have it as the first one. So
and
that's
we have
that's
it.
what he was
Look,
getting at, is just having it to where A
yeah.
is the is the
Look at the
one.
beginning of your crypto addresses. What's at the beginning of your crypto addresses? The first two letters.
0X.
OX. Ox. The same devil ball is still in control.
Fucking Vitalik.
Yeah, he's definitely a sellout bitch.
So
But
what do you think it should be?
at the beginning of your
Yeah.
address,
What are the limitations? Let's choose our next
I don't know. Anything
settlement.
settlement. Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
but
I
Our next
I
blockchain.
to change your addresses.
Let's
Oh, yeah.
change up the alphabet.
Well,
You
In
can
the
I
next
mean,
start with a
century, what
the
do we
whole
plus.
need it to be?
concept of the alphabet is because people became less hyper aware and less able to use telepathy. So they once they started becoming lower frequency beings, they had to start putting things into writing so they wouldn't forget it, because people have just been slowly getting dumber and dumber over millennia.
Mm,
So I mean,
valid.
ultimately, you don't want you what you want is an alphabet that steers you in the direction of not needing the alphabet, which is what the Star of David was that was the Star of David is your vocal cord. So it's a way you can look at the Star of David and know the alphabet through your vocal cords. So that was
So
like the first alphabet would be like just the Star of David, which is way simpler than the whole alphabet ABC through Z. There's a simplified version of alphabet because that's all you needed, because you started using your vocal cords and forgetting stuff, and it was like, oh, I can explain all of history of time through my vocal cords, which is this representation of the Star of David. And then we
so
diverted slowly from there to become even more retarded.
I don't know if I caught that, but
so
I
The
do
star,
appreciate it.
so
but
I'll
symbolism is
watch the rerun.
like,
symbolism is different than the alphabet. The alphabet is a symbolism of what you're trying to say. That's what like Phoenicianism, like or Phoenician phonics, words coming into being, like is coming from your expression of the frequencies. You're manipulating and creating sound,
Right.
which isn't physical. It isn't written on a piece of paper. It isn't an alphabet. You're representing that into a dumbed down version, which is physical matter on a piece of paper that you can now, because we can't even imagine these things in our minds anymore. We have to write it down on a piece of paper that is a representation of what's actually happening inside of us. So we shouldn't even need an alphabet if we were better.
It's interesting you say that. It is.
and we are already kind of moving towards away from alphabets back to emojis, but
Yeah,
that is not like part of it is uh, yeah, we are finding it difficult to remember, but the like I said earlier, a part of it is standardization, so you cannot think outside of the alphabet is what is
yeah,
the reason for having those standardized alphabet.
absolutely. I've got a
Yeah.
line, something like, I know
I think the way that people interpret emojis or settle on their interpretation of what an emoji is, or each emoji having difference. Um, I think that's really fascinating.
Like,
it's just, yeah, it's limiting people's ideas of things. It's like, oh, I thought this was this, but you're saying this is this, and now I have to limit my ability to think and think what you're thinking because I've given you the power to think for me, because I've replaced myself to being a dumb fuck, and I need other people to tell me how to think. So you think an emoji
Oh
of an
yeah,
egg, you think
it
an eggplant is a dick, when
it's
I
like
could think, and I
it's
have a
like limiting
limitless,
vocabulary.
yeah,
You're saying.
yeah, that's what it's all about, putting you in a box
So I think
constantly.
that would be a great way to interact with AI. Um,
I,
to
I,
start
I
out
think the best
the
way to
whole
interact
takeover.
with AI is to not interact with AI. I mean, that's why I don't use a Ouija board. I mean, I don't like speaking to negative entities, but that's just me.
yeah.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So you really limit things? You really
Limit
limit, yeah, the computer power in your
as much
vicinity?
as possible. I mean, I would love to not have to use a computer for anything. That would be ideally. I mean, you're everything. All it is a mirror. It's mirroring reality. Like, you're not experiencing reality. You have to now limit your existence to a representation of your reality through a computer screen. Like, it's killing us and making us dumber. for sure.
I have been worried about the LED lights around. Like I've got them everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
wondering what they're doing to my rhythms.
Yeah, getting out in nature, getting your feet in the ground and actually connecting to a higher existence and frequency, like that is, I wish I could just do that and not have to go on a computer at all ever. I mean, you can, I mean, especially when you get in tune and stuff, it's like, oh shit just starts happening. It's like, oh yeah, I should have called so and so, but they just show the fuck up with what you needed already because you're all tapped in and not idiots on your fucking phones all the time, being disconnected to actually what's going on. You're believing in this representation of reality that everyone's telling you because everyone knows everything because they're fucking them. Of course they know. They know better than me. Look at them. It's like, what? That's just separation.
So the telepathy happens because the possibility is there. You're not distracted. And that's a
Yeah.
point that I was trying to make earlier, where all of our avenues to do something other than AI have been sabotaged, just like all of our avenues of different types of cars. We can only have these two different types of cars because everything else has been sabotaged. And with that chaos, it forces us towards this path of least resistance towards the AI. Here we are.
Yeah. Unfortunate.
Um,
Because, yeah,
like,
they've
I was
got us
thinking
completely
last night, like
separated.
here we are. We're going down the path that way, and we're feeling it out, oscillating back and forth. But we're constantly going that way.
Inevitable.
okay, guys, I think we have uh, like keep some chat for later next live stream. We have later.
I was hoping that SJ would come on,
Wait, yeah,
but she has some things to do.
yeah. So let's end this on a high note, I guess. Let's end it now. I prefer the. Uh,
Oh, we got a visitor.
oh, sorry.
Wait, wait.
Ah, hey,
Oh, okay, good. There you go. Real quick.
sweet. Look at those. They're 3 inches by 3 inches.
Once more, please.
Awesome. So there's some magnets and some stickers.
Oh, hold on. I got the stream on. There we go. There we go. Hey, so yeah, thank you to EcoBuilder. I got these in the mail. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Yeah,
But
we can.
oh good. Okay, excellent. Yeah, they're great. They're very good quality, and I really
Cool.
like the way that you designed them because it just says play puzzle for 1 million, you know?
Yeah.
Like no one needs to know 1 million what. Like so it's very catchy. I think that it's great marketing. I personally know someone who's trying to crack the code right now. They've got their laptop running all these different like I don't even know what it is. Like I wouldn't know how to do that. So I'm not
They're
that I'm
using a
not like
bot.
interested. Exactly, yeah. But like people like that have definitely got a leg up on someone like me who would just be like, let me just arrange these on my own in 10,000 million different strings and see if I can
Right.
figure it out. So
This is gonna take forever.
yeah, but at the very least, I mean, just the marketing on this is very well done. And I also wanted to give you a shout out for that the video that you just sent about that small town in Texas and
Yeah.
sending out more sending out more letters that way. I really love those kinds of campaigns. I think that that's one of the strongest, best ways for us to get people interested and that little word of mouth in these little towns. You never know who it's going to affect and how that's going to affect their life. So kudos to y'all and what you're doing there.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you
SJ.
again for the stickers.
Yeah. So, guys, what I
I'm at-
did was I took the opportunity to send her because she's in one place for a little while these days. Send her some stickers and magnets in order to, re-up her treasure chest while she's going to go around with the Pulse Chain tour in the coming months. How many months are you going to tour?
So it's a whole year. Again, we're doing the whole year. We're gonna do from January until June. We're in the States, and then there's kind of a co-tour thing going on. So Hex Lion and Black Hexagon had already planned a 6-week Europe intensive tour, and we reached out to Hex Lion to find out if he would be willing to come under our banner as the Pulse Chain tour, so that we could make it, so that we could basically be like, it's a world tour. So he said yes. Kaylin, Black Hexagon, she's going to be involved 100% in his tour, and then RG and I will go out for maybe 1 or 2 events of his in Europe. Kind of like a back-to-back thing, so that we'll do, I think what we're going to end up doing is there's a cruise going from Venice to Greece and back, and then the next weekend there's an event in Switzerland, and then that's his last event, and then we're going to do an event in London the week after. So then RG also wants to go to Australia at some point. So, and then we come back from Europe, do a couple other events. We're probably going to go back to Atlanta again. Before all that, we're going to try and hit, definitely we're doing Vegas. And then I think we're going to try to do Salt Lake and the Twin Cities. So if anyone is in Salt Lake or the Twin Cities area, hit me up, or Black Hexagon. We're looking for venues and just for ideas on what to do out that way in probably like April, May is going to be the time frame on those spots. But yeah, that's it. And it's going to be a little different this year. Like, I'm not going to drive the bus out. I probably will drive the bus to Vegas and then Salt Lake if that happens consecutively. But that's it. Like, I don't want to drive. I'm not going to drive it all the way to Twin Cities and back. So like Salt Lake's probably the farthest I would go in this bus, you know, if by that time I'm not crazy, you know, crypto rich. And even then, like, I'm not taking crazy profits or anything. Like, I'm obviously, like, I have, thanks to you, Eco Builder, long time ago, you shared a plan with me, and I have a plan for DCAing out little by little.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta take those profits when you see them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Depending on how much profit I'm able to take, I may or may not be in a new vehicle at some point. But yeah, thanks for holding off for a moment on ending the stream for me. But I also, I do have to go. I gotta make sure RG's all set up for this stream, and I think we're streaming in about 45 minutes. So come check it out. Ask some good questions, and I'm gonna try and feed him questions so that he can ask Dr. Shiva the questions from the audience as well. But we'll see how that goes. Like, he's never really done that kind of format before, so I'm not sure how much of that we're gonna get to do.
Hey, before you leave, can you tell us what you've enjoyed most about what you've been learning, you know, being the assistant of everybody on, you know, like, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's a cool thing, a highlight of you assisting?
Oh man, a cool highlight.
Because you've been doing it for a while, right?
The best part of being an assistant.
Yeah, about 6 months now. I think for me, I mean, learning wise, learning how really committed to this message that, you know, especially RG, because I work most closely with him, right? Like, really, like, just getting to see his heart and like getting to know the depths of the faith that he has in Hex and in, you know, Richard Hart's ecosystem in general. But Hex, really, like, that's the coolest thing, is that we tout it as the Pulse Chain Tour, but when it comes down to it, it's Hex. Like, that's the message that after he does his whole spiel, like, that's what he's talking about is Hex.
Well, RG, he loves RH. Not, I don't know how much RG3 understands anything to do with Hex necessarily. I'm sure he's invested in Hex, but he loves RH. He trusts. I just watched the documentary last night. He loves RH. Like, if RH were to make anything, he would be interested in it. He doesn't necessarily know shit about Hex.
when he speaks at these conferences, he speaks on hex. He says pulse chain hasn't proved itself yet. PulseX hasn't proved itself yet. Hex has proved a concept. He speaks very highly of Hex. Like that's his message, is that, you know, yeah, we're the Pulse Chain Tour, but Pulse Chain was created to make Hex better. And he's constantly yelling about how Hex is better than Bitcoin. Hex is the GOAT. Like he is a diehard Hexican. Like that's one of the things that I learned in
Which Hex?
which Hex?
Yeah, E hex or P hex? Which one does he like the most?
I think from what I've heard him say, he doesn't discriminate with either, but probably but mostly E-hex, because, you know, he talks about like hex being, you know, that's what got him where he's at now, right? And again, he talks about how Pulse Chain was just created to make hex better, right? And on top of that, Pulse Chain's only 8 months old, hasn't proved itself, you know, as much yet. So
I think whenever he came through my town with SJ, we sat down and talked, and I don't think he had a bias on either side
on
of
the other
hexes.
side, yeah.
I think it was all straight up good on both chains. Hey DJ, welcome.
I just wonder sometimes. I wonder sometimes they do that on purpose. It's always like, oh yeah, hex this, hex that, but there's two hexes, so it's kind of, it just gets wildly confusing. Even on Twitter, it's like, oh yeah, the bot posted someone bought hex or whatever. It's like, I don't even know which hex they're talking about. But both of them unbiasedly, I don't know. Richard seems to be gassed up about P hex, and I don't know directly as to why, other than that's more rigidly controlled by him because it's his own chain. So I don't know if that's an unbiased, but whether or not, I mean, people believe him or why, I mean, I would assume he's more biased for his own chain. Whether or not that is the best, what's going to perform the best or not, I don't know if it really matters. But yeah, it's very easily to be biased in this community. So it's just being more specific with language as to what hex we're talking about.
SJ, I know you need to go.
I do.
Bye-bye.
Bye guys. I'll see you later. Ciao.
Where do you see him being biased in his tweets?
Yeah, he's specifically has spoken about P hex, like he would rather have people be buying P hex. Because he called that the real hex. He doesn't even want to call it P hex. He wants to call it hex. So everyone's talking about hex. It's like, which hex are you talking about? Yeah, I mean, Richard has specifically said P hex is the real hex. I personally think E hex is better because of it's been proven time record or whatever, but also it's the first supposedly P hex or whatever. It's a first cycle coin, so maybe it could do better, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, I think Richard has specifically said he likes P hex more, but I like E hex more because it seems safer to me, and there's a little less button pushing to do for newcomers and whatnot to explain a whole nother chain or what even a chain is to people that aren't into crypto. Like it's not easy to explain anything about crypto, let alone making it more confusing. Hex, P hex, E hex, which hex are we talking about? I don't know. I just wish there was an easier way. Like people, that's what, like I'm saying this to you, and it's like you don't even know that Richard's when he says hex, he means P hex. E hex, he'll specify E hex, but when he but all his videos previously talking about hex is obviously talking about E hex before P hex even existed. But now update your worldview, and hex is P hex. But all the other videos, this didn't even exist, and so now I gotta. It's kind of, you got to make some. It doesn't make sense in my head. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, sometimes I fall behind in reading his tweets and getting down to the bottom of exactly what it is that he's talking about. Diraj, you came back to our party.
Sorry, my internet it's ongoing issue. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what was being discussed. The
I've,
EHEX PHEX debate will never end. Let's anyways,
So over
so
there on
we,
Twitter, Hex is the way. I don't know if you guys know him very well. He immediately jumped on board with uh, we need to put all of our financial value into PHEX because we can't support them both, is what his argument was.
yeah, oh man.
that's a
So
dumb
here we are,
argument.
just like bleeding and being getting entangled in this old EX while it is that we need to financially
Yeah.
focus
I've heard a
on
lot of people
PHEX.
talk shit about EHEX and talking about going over to PHEX, and it's just like, I mean, I didn't stake. I mean, these, and it's easier for newcomers, that didn't, or people that didn't stake. It's like, oh yeah, why don't you just switch over? It's because I fucking staked years ago on EHEX, so kiss my ass. Like, what do you mean? And then there's all these morons that like early end stake all their EHEX and go buy PHEX or whatever. And then the ratios go back and forth like flippantly. I don't know. There's obviously not enough clarity on the topic, but then again, RH can't specifically come out and say all these things. So it's like, oh yeah, the obfuscation of the community of who has authority to speak on the topics is just like whatever ability you're able to comprehend. Because there's a lot of community members speaking for RH that, I mean, whatever. People come in like 6 months, been here 6 months, and they act like they're fucking RH or something. Like this shit happens all the way. Like even Hex is the way. Like I don't remember him way back when. I don't know how many stakes he has on EHEX. Obviously, he's biased. He probably didn't have early stakes that got copied. And I mean, he has no reason to get. It's like, I mean, you made the right decision earlier, and now you're going to pay the consequences for it. I mean, that was the right decision to stake early for a long time. And now you got to suffer the consequences because you made the right decision. It sounds fucking retarded to me.
Well, you
It
got
would
your
have been
And
copy.
smarter
on
to
top
stay
of that,
liquid and switch over to PHEX. I mean, that's what these people are telling that are, newcomers to the community. It's annoying to me. Or all these people, that pooled their sacrifices in Pulse and got a higher sacrifice ratio. So obviously they want Pulse to do better because they got a bigger bag of that. Anyone saying anything about anything is because they bought the bag earlier and have a bigger ratio in that specifically. So it's just annoying that people pretend that that's not what's happening. It's like if you're shilling something, it's because you have a bigger bag of that.
Most likely, yeah. So down over here, Besut,
It's disingenuous as well, which makes the community look horrible.
Besut, SJ says that Hex Scout or OX Coast, I would say Pulse LN has been serving people really well. Pulse LN could go straight from Cash App, I believe, and boom.
yeah, Pulsarinen is working. I haven't tried it, but
If we're
I
talking
think
anything
they're
less than like $500.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think they use the change now interface. I think so.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
bot. So this basically. So it's not that difficult either way. Like it all the $60 transaction fees on Ethereum. Oh, sorry. Yeah, like if you're it depends on how much you want to transact. Like, yeah, if you are transacting a couple of $100, yeah, it is expensive. But if you're transacting hundreds of thousands, then yeah, $60 is not a big deal. And if you're having a multi-thousand-dollar hex stake coming out, I don't think spending $60 or even $100 on staking that should be a big deal. At the end of the day, it's all like, yeah, you have to pay the Pied Piper. Like, and the thing what I was going to refer to earlier, yeah, this is always the case. whichever bag you have, the biggest bag you have, your favorite coin is that, and that is what people will share. I come out openly and say, see, if you, my biggest bag is hex. So if you ask me, I will always recommend buying hex on either chain. For me, either chain is okay, whichever, like, yeah, if you like want to just dip your toes, of course pulse chain is going to be cheaper to transact. But ethereum, like, yeah, it, you have to admit, it is kind of leading in the innovation, in both in terms of, like, with the proof of stake, they are coming up with like account abstraction. So these things will be taken care of. What is more important is just hodl and don't get hacked or fished. Make sure you are sending money to the right
Oh,
person.
I'm so glad that you said that too. I got to tell my story about inviting Freedom and I. So she's collecting money for the chickens, right? $15 per chicken, and you get to name the chicken or something. So I I have PayPal money um, just sitting around, and that's what I, you know, have connected to some things, just as, like, you know, just little bits of cash here and there, PayPal money. So I like to use PayPal instead of Cash App and stuff like that. So I visit her post and listed, let's see, listed next to PayPal or described, she had a certain address, and I tried using that address and nothing came up for PayPal whenever I was on the website. So I publicly respond to her tweet saying, hey, the PayPal information doesn't come up whenever you enter that. And I thought to myself, like, hey, I probably shouldn't do this. Like, you know, maybe I should keep financial things private. But then I was like, no, like, everybody would want to know, right? What PayPal address was the official one to send to. So I said it publicly, and then and then I go and do other things. She responds with, I don't know, I'll check and get right back to you. Then somebody else took her image, and I didn't read the exact handle of it, but they took her image and copied her text, her title, and they said this is the email address, and then they also quote tweeted it, me asking, and then put this is the email address. And so I thought it was at first easy glance only $15, right? I looked at that and was like, oh, she's responding to me. Okay, so I'll grab that email address. Like, for some reason, she responded twice. It was so that the scammer would see that I saw it. So I took that email address. I sent $15 to it. I told her about it. She was like, the next day, she was like, hey, are you sure that you sent that? Or we haven't seen that yet. I was like, yeah, I sent it, you know, to this certain email address. And she's just like, what email address is that? I don't recognize that. And I was like, oh yeah, um, this must have happened. But what made it suck worse, not only did I get scammed, but inviting Freedom, she didn't get a lot of interaction with that post. So she deleted it and made a better post and released it that next day. So I didn't even get to, like, examine how somebody had come and gone, deleted their own posts over time. I couldn't do any investigation. The whole trail was wiped out. But that didn't stop me from being a part of Inviting Freedom's thing. Whenever I figured out the real email address, I sent more money, and it's going to be called Bossy Builder, I think. No, not Bossy, Sassy. I called my chicken Sassy Builder. And I asked her just like 2 days ago, like, hey, how well has that fundraiser done? And they were wanting to purchase 50 chickens total. Uh, I think it was 50 or 40. And somebody ended up, just like a few days ago, they ended up donating $500. So she had already reached her goal basically immediately. So thanks for whoever that supporter was.
How were they able to successfully send her money?
I don't know. I don't know what avenue that was.
Not PayPal.
I did it PayPal.
Wasn't
I
that
not only got scammed through the PayPal, but then I went and did it right. Because, like, whenever you have this idea and just follow through with it, you'll be happy.
Yeah. So yeah, this is how social engineering works. They somehow manage to get you at that right vulnerable moment.
Yep.
Like, and I I think they like the more time they have to practice, they are getting more kind of good at their task.
the scammer
But
bots?
yeah, scammer bots. The more data they get, the more intelligent they get. But
What,
I
that was on Telegram. Every time, like on Telegram, I always
Twitter.
go, oh, it was on
Twitter.
Twitter. You couldn't just click on their profile and be like, oh, this is the wrong person sending me an
I
email.
didn't though, because
What?
they're able to disguise their title and their image with hers. They're able to clone that, but
Yeah,
the
I get,
handle itself is different. So yeah, the
yeah.
profile is different had I
And then,
clicked through, but I kind of just like wanted to send her the money and get it over with. So I was asking, I thought she responded twice just so that I would see it, but it was twice so that the scammer, could get it across to me, not knowing that I actually, value this person's, looking forward to the response. But yeah,
so that
they
was just quick
they
then.
just snuck in, snuck out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like
It was
somehow
it was
you were
pretty
having
cool.
like a public discussion and then they DM'd you, so they knew you were
Not DM.
talking.
Not DM. No, they replied.
Oh,
And
on the open thing, and you just all right. I'd
I
have to look
assumed it
into
was
it.
her because they took her image and her title.
Yeah, I get like fake Elon Musk adding me all the time. Like, I assume everyone, like I check everyone's like all the time overly. It's like especially, or the easiest way is like if you're following them, you just like click on their thing and it's like it says you're following them right away. So if you're not following them, you don't communicate with them. But they are sneaky with the at handle. They just put like one little letter that you would just glaze over if you weren't looking very closely.
So in Twitter, you have the little notification bell where you can just see all of your notifications lined up. So I see her responding to me and I just click through to those or copy right off of that. That's probably what I did. It's like copied
yeah,
right there in that message that was
Yeah.
in my notifications because I was on my desktop.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
So that is why I don't send money over the internet to anyone, nor do I. And I don't have the guts to
We
ask
got
for
that.
money.
Got that good.
I'm going to set up a camera for the butter. It's going to be the butter cam. How you like that, Finbear?
Hey guys, I think the Discourse Syndicate stream is going
Oh,
to
yeah.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do that.
So if you, I like we can do that like simulcast it on this channel, but I think like or at least we can be streaming there. But eh, I
That'd be kind of
don't.
fun to comment, be a commentator on them, though.
Yeah, but
I do like trying new things.
yeah, maybe like we can do a commentary stream next week, but don't take away views from the other channels is
So what we need is evergreen content, and
yeah.
possibly in the video format. Let's create shit. And so like here we are, we're meeting, we're exchanging ideas, but let's organize
I think the evergreen comments or the evergreen
content.
green content is the clips. Like just record, and then once in a while you get some lightning in a bottle, and then you have that
Yeah.
small ability to regurgitate, have that like different clips. I think that, I mean, if you're pre-planning, it's not spontaneity. It's not, you got, it's all about catching lightning in a bottle. I mean, you can try to think these things through, but usually it's more spontaneous, and then just get the right clips. Like DCC does that all the time. Like most influencers are just clips every fucking day, 2 or 3. And if you got enough content, you can find the spots that is like, oh, this is, and you can even get the AI data at the most views at this point in time. So you could go through your video and be like, oh, this had the most views. Let's clip that and put that out.
Yeah, let's see. This is what Sam message.
Finbar says that his wife gets scammed text messages these days because of Christmas about packages.
Yeah. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining. See you guys next week. I am not going to play the our normal Zanzibar outro. I have a doubt it like the it is copyrighted music which gives bad reviews. So I'm just going to say good, goodbye with our Hex logo
Make
and
some
see you
shit.
guys.
Make shit.
I've
Say it. I can still hear you.
was saying Trap Gravity's got beats and stuff. I made a song on one of his beats that's not copyrighted because he made the beat. Put that.
Yeah.
It's better than Zanzibar. Well, not Zanzibar, but
My
it's
last two
better than
shorts
copyright.
had
Yeah.
his stuff in the background of it.
Yeah,
And Hexa, who is it? Hexa something. He's Northwest, Hexakin Northwest. He utilized some of Trap stuff recently.
copyright free.
Copyright free, just boom, that
hard to-
fits.
Yeah, stay safe on Twitter. It's hard not to get those strikes.
Yep. Okay. And yeah, so see you guys once again. See you guys next week. Bye.
Make some shit.